I think one of the worst things in my having to talk about what my mother and me went through, and my father being very little part of it. Like, literally, my father kind of was more like an absent party. Uh, he's what's left, so I have to make it very clear that even lack of decision making can be a decision. I mean, I can't be like blaming the doctors or myself and not include anybody else. I had to include myself in these as well. So when I say like state failed or anything like that, I'm not trying to be like make up a story or a mentally ill. Or when I talk about my mother giving me Epicac or giving me an overdose and I have a 25-year-old disorder, I don't want to talk about any of that anymore. I really want it to be over. I really do. I talked about it for 15 years and I took a break and it was nice just not having to deal with that craziness. But if I don't, I'm going to get really hurt. Um, it's really important to deal with these type of issues. If your mother act completely nuts, but you're the only one other than like three other people that saw it all the time, that's a big problem. And that don't forget, it's not all the time too. It's for me, I have 100 memories, 100 different horrible things, and 1,000 maybe questionable things. But the family members stayed away from her. A lot of them did. So how many do they really have? Maybe two that I remember where I was there each. Maybe another one that, I mean, like for instance, my brother. I doubt that he's seen much more than some crazy talk. My sister, crazy talk. And I'm a child being drugged, so I'm talking drooling and trying to figure out how to navigate a crazy drugged world. So, and I didn't know this. I didn't know that like certain medications can make you look like you have diseases. I didn't know that. I didn't know medications can cause like downing, depression, suicidal thoughts, and I didn't know that like if you ended up taking schizophrenic medication, that can cause symptoms that are very close to schizophrenia, so it can accidentally give you a diagnosis of schizophrenia. I didn't know that that used to be a thing, but now I do. And now I know, oh, this is bad and has to be handled. I don't want to talk about it. It hurts me to talk about what my mother did to me. And it makes me sound kind of crazy, so I don't like talking about it. But there are certain people who should hear it. And I've been trying for 10 years now to just be calm, collected about it, talk to doctors, the state, just everybody. And I've talked to psychiatrists for years, but sometimes the problem is with them that they have no power to help in any way. They can't help with physical neurological disorders. They can't help with GI pain. They can't help with poisoning of the stomach. They can only help with the emotional part of it. And seeing as I've dealt with that, and that was tough. That was tough. It was tough to deal with the emotional part of it. And I'm gonna have PTSD and anxiety for the rest of my life. I'll have to just continue coping with for the rest of my short life. Jeez, it's not even that much. Um. So, yeah, I don't really know how to say this in a good way. I'm doing my best. I've tried to be nice about it while I was being poisoned. I took the whatever. I took the pills. I took the Epicac. I took the overdose from the pills. I took the opiates on the plane not knowing what they were. I took whatever pills made me pass out in that car. And I took people thinking that I was always depressed or down when really my mother just gave me some pills beforehand. I mean, the first time that started was even before we left for Texas. It did stop. I don't remember there being much in Texas, except for New Mexico, that stuff happening. But even that wasn't that like well, wasn't as bad as the pills and what my mother was doing before. And it was really hard for me to like kind of know what all this is because I'm being lied to. I'm being told that I need all this, but because I have a chemical imbalance and this coordination issue in the beginning just disappeared. and it didn't disappear. I'm still bumping into stuff. My shins are getting cut up still. So my coordination issue and my ability to write and move my hands and arms, it never stopped. People still noticed it. Well, it got worse, actually. Way, way, way worse. I mean, the only time it was better was when it was summer and it was really hot. Oh boy, I love heat. So, yeah, where to go from here? There is nowhere. I've been trapped. I was trapped before I even got a start. And what's even worse is the person isn't here to even try to hear what I feel like from what she did to me. Now, most likely, she'd just probably try to kill me off. Um, I don't really know what my mother would do if she was alive. She probably would have continued, but she probably would have pushed the Social Security stuff because I know that she probably would have figured if I didn't get it that eventually I would figure this stuff out, or I would go to work and somebody else would figure it out. I really don't know. All I do know is I wish that some of the people in my life that are responsible for doing these horrible things to me could have at least a conversation with me about them. I mean, I'd love to talk about that nurse and like talk to her about why I had to take two sets of medications in the same hour that are identical because my roommate wanted to tell a story. What made her think that that was okay? Oh, well, we do that all the time. Okay, well, do you realize how much harm that can do to a person? Just answer me that. Same thing at age 5. I'd like to talk to that 19-year-old that allowed me to take twice the medication in the same hour because another kid put ketchup in my orange juice in an orphanage. That's messed up too. Nobody should be doubled up in the same hour. That's wrong. I would like to speak to a lot of the people who were at Lowell Treatment Center who decided it was okay to let a kid 8 floors down come over and try to rape me repeatedly. And that was on camera and on the record, and I did not sign any paperwork. And I would be very happy to bring that to an attorney if I wasn't so weak and sick from all the other shit that happened to me. And of course, once when somebody does something to you and kills themselves, or if they just use a lot of drugs and decide to have like liver failure from it, there's nothing you can do afterwards. You can't get peace. You can't talk to them. It's just over with. And a lot of these people who do these awful things, they do seem to go that way. And they need to stop it. All you have to do is admit to yourself that what you did was wrong and you can move on. You don't have to kill yourself or drug yourself to death. The second part of that is if you want to move on with the person you did it to, you just need to take responsibility for it. Those are the two different parts of this. I hate to admit it, but I probably would give the people who did this to me forgiveness if I just got the help I needed, but that wouldn't happen. That's not going to happen. I really hope it would. I've been praying for years and years and years. There has been little signs that I really thought that people were starting to wake up. There's a lot of like paperwork and people that tried to help. But the moving around and all the fake psych records and the fact that I fed into my mother's fantasy when I was real young, that really is not going to help any. So I'm screwed. These videos get really difficult for me to talk about. They're really hard for me. I don't want to talk about them. But now, with the time I have left, I need to make sure people know what's going on with me. It's very important I keep a record, and if I do somehow get better, then I can take this information, put it in a format that maybe if I lose the ability to talk or write, at least I have it. So the people, maybe there's somebody who can actually help me out there. I already know there is a lot of help that I can get now. But as I get worse, that window closes. And I'm going to need to be able to explain because so far nobody has written down what's going on with me. Nobody has actually even took down what I know 100% to be true that I can point, hey, there's proof right over there. Yeah, right there. Just look. Just look. Just open your eyes. That's all. Just open your eyes. Hey, buddy, 1 foot in front of you. No? No? Oh, great. The guy can't look 1 foot in front of him. And that's what I get a lot of times. 1 foot in front of you or right in your face, and people still can't be, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. You're a doctor, man. Suck it up. Like, people just don't want to see stuff. You're like a father, a doctor, you're a medical professional, but you don't want to hear it, see it, and of course I'm not going to get anywhere. I mean, a lot of people do get somewhere, but I see a lot of just ignorant people that don't realize how real and hurtful this is to me, and how much I've been through, and how much more I have to go through just because people don't want to listen. There is a big problem out there, and I'm a victim. I mean, it's not a big deal. I mean, there's lots of other people. I thought it was even bigger deal until I met other people who went through it with me. I mean, I kept on running into the same people that were in the same orphanages and that were held down in the same way, or that ended up having to get beaten, or came from another country. One of them is on Social Security because their father popped out their eye, beat them all the time.